I'm waiting for some of you all to come in. But in the meantime, I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Blessed to see, what's it, a Thursday? Blessed Thursday. I want to speak on something that I realized, that I recognize, that I was aware, that was brought to my awareness this past couple days, maybe 2 days. I've always known it, but I think this is my reality of it, my awareness of it. Um, Let me be real. Let me be honest. And sometimes, your time is now to fly. Your time is now. Hey, Chesney, how are you doing? Great sunrise to you. Sometimes your time is right now to fly, but right now also you're carrying too much weight. And sometimes we are given glimpse of what we can be or where we can go if we drop the weight. We're gonna see how much we can rise. Sometimes the time is now. Hey, Janae, the time is right now. We praying to God. We praying and we praying and we praying to make it work and to give us what we praying, asking for elevation and all these things, but you can't elevate because your spirit is heavy. Hey, Blue, how you doing? Hey, Jocelyn, good morning. And I want to tell you, your time is now. Your time has been come. It's just our time to let go of certain situations and certain people and certain emotions and feelings has come too. They come at the same time. Because if you carry those you have now into that success, those old things is gonna screw it up. God knows, man. You can't carry those things into the new reality that you want. A lot of us are holding on to this old stuff, it's old feelings, it's old parts of us that we refuse to let go. We are holding on to those things for life and death. We are holding on to these things for life and death because we think is who we are, and it's not who we are. But to get to the next level, we must release those things. Because if we get to the next level and hold on to those things, we cannot stay at the next level for long. We will always lose it. We will always lose. Every time we get there, we lose it. See, many of us, we ask a question. I don't know why I get to a space and then I stop and I have to backtrack. Every time I get there, I stop and I backtrack. Every time I get to a certain place, I start over. Every time I get, it's because we're carrying the old things still. And these old things keep us at a certain space. It keeps us at a certain frequency or a certain energy. We have to be careful. The time is now, but when the time is now, you have to get rid of certain things that you have been carrying in your whole life. You have to be brave enough to get rid of them. You have to be aware, conscious, and you have to get rid of those things no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you think is your identity, no matter how much you think that you need those things. You have to learn to get rid of those things because they will stop you. They will stop you. They will bring you back to a place where you don't like, and that makes you feel more, even more worse. That makes you feel disgusting. It makes you feel like a loser because every time you get to a certain space, I'm telling you, man, we're gonna see glimpses. We are always gonna see glimpses of where we can be. The universe would always give us a glimpse of if you just release these things, this is where you can be. This is where you can be. But many of us, we can't release those things because we're taking it personal, because it's somebody that we love, because it's something that somebody taught us, because somebody who didn't love us made us react this way. It's because somebody, did something to us. It's because we cannot forgive. It's because we are always carrying resentment. It's because, my emotions. It's because my feelings. It's because I feel stuck. It's because I feel this. And those things will put you back on your ass every single time. You have to learn to drop those things. You know, um, I know I look at myself sometimes and I'm very happy of the man that I've become, of the things I had to let go. I'm very happy of things I had to let go, because if I didn't let go of those things and I got to this place, if I got to this place without letting go of those things, I will fall every single day. Temptations will get me every single time. Every single time. And so I'm so thankful that I had to release those things first before I saw the promised land. You know, speaking about the promised land, man, I remember when it came to give me a second. When it came to Moses being in the wilderness with all the Israelites, they had to get rid of all those things, all those belief systems, all those gods, all those other gods, all those practices. They had to get rid of those things before they enter the promised land. Because when you enter the promised land with all those things, you can't stay there. You will get kicked out. Before you get to the life that you want, the relationship that you desire, the man or woman that you desire, the position that you desire, you have to get rid of certain energies, certain thoughts. You have to kill certain thoughts. You have to kill a part of you that you was holding on to for years, that anger. You have to release that addiction to sex. You have to release that addiction to all those emotions that we've been having. We have to learn to release those things. You see those resentment that you're carrying? If you carry resentment into the new relationship, you cannot hold on to it for long. If you carry around resentment and unforgiveness in new relationships from the old stuff, you cannot hold on to a relationship at all. And we have to learn, man. We have to learn. God knows, man. We can't have the new life with the old stuff. We can't have the new life with the old stuff that we have been used to punish ourselves with over these years. Many of us have been punishing ourselves carrying this guilt. You can't go to the new life with guilt because you feel like you don't deserve it. So you will always lose it. Many of us are filled with guilt, filled with shame. So every way, every level you go, you worried about what people saying, what people doing, how they're looking at you, how they're talking about you, and then you begin because you believe them because you're carrying guilt. You got to be careful with these things that you are carrying. Hey, Lois, Stuart, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey, Aura, Maria, how are you doing? Listen, we got to be careful, man. Hey, Val, we got to be careful. But your time is now. If nobody ever told you this, let me remind you, your time is now. It's now. It's been now. It's been now. It's been now. Thank you, Lee. Your time is now, man. Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Your time is now. But in the now, you have to do something. You have to get rid of some. I'm telling you, many of us can fly. Many of us can fly. We can soar high in the sky, but we are carrying these heavy emotions, these heavy feelings, these heavy reactions, these heavy memories, these heavy burdens. We are carrying people's stuff. We are carrying people's trauma, people's expectations. We are carrying people's stuff. And every time we try to take off that stuff, when you go into a plane, you got to weigh the bags and all them stuff because the plane has a certain amount of weight. Those aircraft have a certain amount of weight that can go on the aircraft. If it's too heavy, the plane could only go so high. Listen, we are too heavy. See, many of us, we can't go far. If the baggage is too high, I mean, if it's too heavy, every time the plane go up, it sinks. It sinks. It sinks. That's why we keep drop, up, drop, because the memory. Moses and the Israelites was in the wilderness for 40 years. 40 years. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? They stayed in the wilderness for 40 years, trying to purge that old system, trying to reboot, trying to reprogram, trying to change. Hey, Nanny Puffins, long time to see. They stayed in the wilderness for 40 years. They had to change the way how they look at life, change the things that they did, change what they believe, change what they were used to while they was in slavery, change the mindset. Listen, sometimes you are in slavery for so long, and when I say slavery, I'm talking about our hurt. I'm talking about our pain. I'm talking about our sicknesses. I'm talking about our diseases. We are stuck in these things for so long, and we think that is us, is who we are. We have gotten so used to these things that we have been carrying that we think that they are parts of us, and they have not been parts of us. They are not part of us. It's just because we've been carrying them for so long, so we don't know how to separate those energies from who we are. And therefore, you cannot enter the promised land until you get rid of those. That means you have to take time. You're going to have to take some time. You're going to have to take some time to clear that stuff out. I look at this journey. I look at this journey, man. And when you're on this journey, you're going to be tempted, man. Hey, IE, how are you doing? Hey, Prior MO, how are you doing? I look at this journey, and every time you're on this journey, you're trying to do right, you're trying to do good. Here comes this temptation. And temptation comes and it hits you on your butt again. You fall for it. Then you go back down again. Then you feel guilty. You feel ashamed. And it takes you a while to go back up. And we keep falling for the same crap over and over and over. We keep falling for the same things. You notice that we keep falling for the same crap? What's up, Raylan? How you doing, man? We keep falling for the same stuff over and over. And that's why we always in the same mess. At a certain point, this is the universe telling you, clear that energy. You got to clear it. You got to clear it. You got to clear the energy. You got to clear it. It is your time to clear the energy because you cannot go high with the energy. You got to clear it. And so I remember I had to clear my energy, my heavy addictions to sex and woman and ego boosting and all. I have to clear the stuff because now where I'm flying, if I was that man still, man, and bringing these messages, if I was that man bringing these messages, I am easily tempted. Oh Lord, because people will test you. Not God, not the devil. People will test you, man. Just to see if you are the man who you say you are, or the woman that you say you are. Your boss will test you. People around you will test you. They will challenge you. And when they realize, or when you have seen your growth, you realize you was never my temptation. My temptation was my ego. My temptation was my anger. My temptation was my unforgiveness and my resentment. That's what I was addicted to. My own suffering. Seriously. My own temptation was me every time I had a reason to be angry, I took it. You feel what I'm saying? Every time I had the perfect opportunity to be angry, I had to be angry and showed my ass. We don't see it that way. Anytime the perfect opportunity came that I had to be resentful and to have resentment in my heart, I took it. Oh, you did me wrong. Oh, I can't trust nobody. Oh, everybody's this. You cannot get to a certain place with those things in your heart, man. You have to get rid of those things because the world don't stop. People don't stop peopling. The outside don't stop outsiding. Life don't stop lifing. Do you notice that? Life don't stop lifing. Things don't stop. Hurricanes don't stop because you are at a certain place. Tornadoes don't stop because of you. Nothing stops because of you. So you have to get to a place where you can clean that system out. Stop being so addicted to the old version of you. It served you no purpose. The old version of you, it helped you when you was 20, 25. Anybody in their 40s, 50s, 60s? That old version was there for your strength and for your growth. But now that you are grown, now that you are aware, you no longer need that version because one is strength and one is awareness. And the strength that we had or we think that we needed was from our own crap that we was fighting, from our own issues that we keep falling in, from all our own temptations that our ego was not satisfied. I'm telling you, what we consider strong was just making our own crap based on what we desired and falling. And when we to come back up, we had to be strong. But now it's not about being strong; it's about being aware. See, if you're aware, you don't have to be strong. I promise you. If you are aware, you don't have to be strong. So I realized, man, let me clean these things off. If I want to get to the next destination, I got to fly. Let me clean these off. Listen, and when I clean these off, dirt will drop off by itself. The dirt will begin to drop off. And the dirt includes, I'm not saying people are dirt, certain people will drop off. It's just when people drop off, you question. What's wrong? Where you going? And you chase them, then you put the dirt back on. When you begin to purge yourself, people will fall off. Natural selection. This is people gonna just fall off because that's not what they wanted in you. That's not what they wanted from you. Hey, Jamisha, situation is gonna come to you. Different situations. Sometimes you're gonna fall right into things. But if you fall into something and you have those insecurities, those anger, those things still, you're gonna fall right back out. And then you're gonna call it God's plan, God's will. It's God's will. It's God's will that I wasn't supposed to keep it. Nah, it's not God's will. It's not nothing but God's will. Sometimes it's just your own programming that stopped you from keeping the blessing. Your programming was every time something good happened to you, you messed it up. Every time something good came to you, you screwed it up. You went back to your old programming. You know, when Moses and the Israelites was in the wilderness, you notice that they keep focusing on that slavery. Now, nobody wants to be in slavery. Nobody wants to be in slavery. But if it's what you know, you always go back to slavery. Seriously, if it's what you know, you go back to slavery. If it's all that you know, you see, when somebody is abusing you, if it's all that you know, you always go back. So you can't blame. Listen, many times we are so harsh. Thank you, Neil. Thank you. I'm telling you, sometimes we are so harsh when it comes to people. We see people getting abused, and we're like, why don't you? And we don't think about it. Sometimes it's being programmed. This is what we see. This is what we see. This is what we know. And so when the Israelites reach a certain place in their journey, they're always, I'm hungry. I should have stayed. Right? I'm hungry. I should have stayed in Egypt. You know what I mean? And we ain't got no water. Oh my God, you brought us here to kill us, right? Because when you're in the wilderness, when you have nothing familiar, you panic. You panic. You panic. You really panic. And when you panic, you only think about back. See, our memories can go back quick. Our imagination don't go forward. Memories always go back to what we know. That's real, Rumbles. That's real. That is real right there. We will f things up because we think it's going to. I mean, like for real. Yeah, that's right, Neil. We have to learn, man. The time is now. Your time is really now. Your time is now. Our time is now. Our time has been come. We're still praying and asking God to show us the way. Our time is here. If you want to find a way, this is what you do. Sometimes you got to close your eyes to your own insecurities. Close your eyes to your own judgment. Close your eyes to your own resentment, your anger, your misery. Close your eyes to your own stuff. You got to. Sometimes what we've seen in life, man. Thank you, Jamisha. I appreciate that. Sometimes what we have, man, what we experience in our lives. Hey, listen, today, let me just tell you. Let me just tell you. The time is now is yours. Hey, today our brothers and sisters on social media acting a fool can facts. You're right. Good morning, Lynn. How you doing? If you haven't heard me say this before, your time is now. I don't know. This came to my heart this just last night. Your time is now, man. Your time is now. You can't be falling for the same things still. You can't fall for the same thing still. You can't keep biting the bait and question why you can't elevate. You can't keep biting the same bait that you've been biting all your life and wonder why you can't elevate. You can't keep biting the bait for you to be angry and ashamed of yourself and insecure about yourself. You can't keep biting the bait that everybody gives you. Every time somebody feeds you the bait, you bite it. I feel so shame. I feel you biting the bait. We can't keep biting the same bait and then elevate. You have to stop biting the bait. Some people are gonna dangle things over you to make you angry because that's how they see you. That's what they recognize in you, your anger. Some is gonna dangle things so that you can feel insecure. Some gonna dangle things that you feel like you don't like you and you wanna they want your response, they want your reaction. They're gonna dangle certain things. But if you've been biting this bait for the past 40 years, 50 years, 20 years, why you keep biting the bait? Stop biting. You see the bait, but question. Yeah, I see it there, but it's my choice on how I react. It's my choice on what I do next. It's my choice and if I bite it or not. We can't get to the next level, even though your time is now. So you are in the wilderness walking around for 20 years. Some of you have been in this wilderness for the past 20 plus. years. Seriously, some of us have been walking around in the wilderness blindly for the past 20 years, for the past 10 years, since your last relationships, since your last abuse, since your last disrespect, since your last disappointment. You've been walking around the wilderness just walking because you keep going back to the old. I wish I was supposed to. I know, I feel, I feel, I think, and it keeps you in the same, just walking around. And you're not, you walking around. You are the Israelites. You can't get to where you need to get to. You can't get to where you need to get to. And so right now you're frustrated and you're tired, ain't you? You see how tiring it is? Oh my God. You see how tiring and frustrated it is? Sometimes you want to give up because you realize I can't, I have a lot of clients. I can't every time I try to evolve, every time something brings me back. And that's so popular. I mean, you're so tired, right? Listen, um, I fell for the same things for many years, too, man. Yeah, for real. I fell for the same things so often. Listen, you know how many times I tried to get promoted and this and that, feeling for the same things, biting the same bait. And I'm talking about, listen, I'm talking, this is about me. Because I gotta talk about me for you to understand that I know, I understand. I really understand. I get it. I get it because I see it within me. I see it. I did it for many years. I stayed around the same place. My time had came many years ago, but I just was so focused on my emotions that I was holding on to, on my feelings and my own insecurities and my anger and my resentment. I was so focused on those things. But the universe said you can't put two different frequencies in the same pot. It doesn't work. You can't carry this to that. You can't carry this slavery into a freedom mentality. You can't carry a slave mentality into a freedom experience. You cannot carry a slave. And these emotions and feelings keeps us enslaved. Hey, Speedy, these emotions, right? Oh, from Tanzania. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. These emotions and these feelings keeps us enslaved to our old selves. This is the beauty of, or the ugliness of, keeping us in the same old mindset. These emotions. How many of us are just practicing the same emotions every single day? And I say practice. I use that word very. I chose that word. We are practicing these emotions because every time something happens, that emotion comes. That emotion is what you recognize the most. That emotion is what you think about. That emotion is what you feel. Whether it's you being horny, whether it's you being angry, whether it's you acting up on it, thinking that you're supposed to. I fell for that many times. I think I was supposed to be great long time ago. I mean, I was always great, but my own stuff was holding me back. So every time a woman tell me, "Kirk, you handsome," oh, I was ready to bite the bait. Yeah, I don't understand. Good morning, Charlene. Welcome. My problem. I'm talking about my trouble. Every time a woman say, "Hey, listen, I want you," I bit it. I gotta go back again and start over. And I'm so aware of it now. To get to the next, you see, you can't get to the next place, and when you get to the next destination where you want to be, I'm telling you, those old things can't come, because at that new destination, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find everything is still there. The same temptations, the same reality, or what things look like, the same perception of things, the same people coming at you, the same problems, the same life. Don't just stop just because you think that you are at a certain level. Life don't stop. I think many of us think that life stops. No, man. Sometimes it just becomes different. This stuff. So this is why we have to handle these things now. We have to handle. We have to nip these things in the bud. Because I'm telling you, once you get to the promised land, you can't carry those things there because you see like when Adam and Eve was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Yeah, I'm telling you. Do you see like how Adam and Eve was kicked out of the Garden of Eden? You can't stay in the Garden of Eden, in the promised land, with those old attitudes. You can't stay there. You can't stay here. It's like staying in a mansion but can't afford the mortgage. You can't stay. So while we are not at the promised land first, while we are not there at the promised land, now is when you start to nip those things in the bud. You start to pull those weeds. You gotta pull those weeds. You gotta pull those weeds, man. You gotta stop. Now when you're not nobody special, when you feel like you're not nobody good or nobody loved or nobody, you gotta pull. See, now that you're not in a relationship, you're not in this, you gotta start putting those insecurities, plucking them out. Pluck out those resentment. Pluck out the anger. Pluck out all the hurt and pain. You gotta pluck it out. You gotta pluck it out. Tiana, how you doing? It's time to pluck those things out now. Because when you start to elevate, you don't have to easily be distracted by those same things. Because what is it? The wheat and the tear shall go together. The weeds and the let's say the weeds and the flowers. But the wheat and the tears shall grow together. They're gonna go together and they never stop until you pluck them out from the roots. You gotta pluck them things out because I promise you, like right now, you are the wheat. You are the wheat. But them damn tears that's coming up right next to you, how you feel, your past experiences, your trauma, as we call it, your insecurities, your doubts, your weaknesses, that's the tears. And you're growing together. So every level, you're going to meet the same damn tears. If you don't pluck them things out, every level that you go, every job that you're in, every relationship that you are in, every friendships that you are in, every situation that you come in, these tears are, you're going to always find those tears because you haven't plucked them out. Now that you're just beginning to learn and become aware, pluck those things out, man. If you don't do it now, when you're growing and when you have grown, they have grown too. See, if you don't cut the weeds when you cut the grass, if you don't cut the weeds, the grass are gonna be long, but the weeds are gonna be long too. Matter of fact, the weeds are always longer. Do you notice that those weeds are always longer? Those weeds be longer. Those weeds just grow without no kind of management. Listen, you ain't got to try to grow them weeds. Them weeds just you ain't got to water them. Hey, you ain't got to give it fertilizer. Them weeds just them things be long, and your grass be like only this short. In 2 weeks, the weeds just grow. But if you wait until the weeds get too big or too long, every time you enter your promised land or the land that you are promised or the place where you should be or the job that you should be in or the position, people can't stand you. People get on your nerve. They begin to make you jealous. They begin to make you insecure. They begin to make you feel because those tears, and you begin to judge those people, thinking that those are the problems. No, them people ain't the problem. It's because you haven't plucked out how you felt about yourself. You haven't plucked out how your anger is not necessary in every situation. You haven't plucked out your whole past that affected you. And still, you haven't healed those parts of you. So your tears are so damn big and long. They have grown so much. And now you can't stand being around people. You can't stand being around a man or a woman. You can't stand being around your family. You can't stand being by yourself. You can't stand being alone. You can't stand your thoughts. You can't stand your feelings. You haven't plucked them out. Listen, now realize if I became this man that I am, which is nobody should know who I am, because only you know your struggles. So only you know your successes. So when I say the man who I am, I'm not referring to anybody of status, not the status that people talk about, not those social statuses. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about if you don't know my struggles, if you don't know how far I've come, if you don't know how I fought myself, how I was against myself, how I hated myself, if you don't know how much I tried to destroy myself, if you don't know how I tried to take my own life, you will never know where I'm at right now. You will never know. So when I get to my level, not social level status, I'm talking about where I'm at right now in my own awareness, in my journey. If I didn't pluck those things out before, I will fail. I will fall so easily. I will fall so easily. Different levels demand different realities, different versions of you. Different levels deserves different versions of you. You can't keep trying to hold on to the same versions, the one that you like. To elevate, you must get rid of that one. Learn to like the next one. Learn to be okay with the next. Because if not, them tears are gonna be so tall. Every time you take one step up, you take two steps back. Yeah, them weeds controlling you. I'm telling you, man. Listen, pluck them weeds. But listen, but when you're plucking them weeds, you're gonna feel weird. You're gonna feel it. See, sometimes we are growing against these weeds. We are growing with these tares and these weeds for so long that we have become attached to these weeds too. It becomes decoration. Remember, these weeds. Hey, Tabby. A lot of times, these tares that we are growing with the weed, these tares have become decoration. Sometimes, have you ever seen the wild flowers, the wild little things that pops up in your grass, and you're like, "Ooh, they've been there. They've always been there. So let me just leave them, right?" But your grass could only go so far. Your grass could only go so green. They pull you. They take the nutrients from your grass. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They take the nutrients from your grass. See, the nutrients and the water that your grass needs, the little wildflowers and what, they're beautiful. Sometimes we think that we decorate ourselves with these tears. I don't know if you all know what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm just talking. I don't know if you all know what I'm talking about. I know I'm using a lot of, you know, what's the word? Yeah. I know I'm using a lot of figurative speech. So I hope that you guys following me, right? It's very simple too. Sometimes them wildflowers becomes our decorations. Good, good. Yeah, yeah, Speedy. Sometimes the wildflowers becomes the decoration because it looks good. It looks good with the grass. Sometimes our anger becomes our decoration because we think that we need it because that's how I'm hard. That's why I'm strong. I have to have the anger to back me up, right? This resentment protects me from people who playing games. So let me resent you very quickly. It becomes our decoration. This loud aggression becomes a decoration because you know who I am. I'm telling you right now because this and that. It becomes decoration. So we say, hey, let's keep it. Let's keep it. But you can't go far with it because it was molded in hurt. It was molded in the pain. It was molded in anger. It was molded in rage. And in rage and anger, you can't grow. Not much could grow in those things. Not things that you're going to want to keep. Those things don't last. Those things can't be kept in your next versions. You have to be molded in love. And when I love, man, when you love, when you love, when you love, begin to when you begin to plant that garden or that soil, and when you begin to lay that foundation of love, it looks listen, it looks weird. It looks weird, man. It looks weird because people are gonna treat you like you don't know, like you're going crazy. You let them talk to you that way. Yes, it's their mouth. You let them. No, I don't have. Listen, they are free. And so now I have gained some insight on love, and I am free too, and I can choose who I react to. Some things are just not meant to be. Everything is not meant to be responding to. Everything don't need your response. When I learned that, and I'm still learning it too. Don't get me wrong. I'm still listen. I'm still on the same journey that you guys are. I am still on the same journey that you guys are on. The same journey. Ain't no different from you. I hope you all know ain't no different from you guys. I'm the same man that you are. Same stuff, same ego, same mindset, same reality. Maybe different a little bit, but it's the same thing. I've learned you don't have to respond to everything. People have the right to say what they want, do what they want. But if every time you got to repeat and respond, you are changing levels. You are still attached to the past experience, to who you used to be, what you used to be, and because but what you used to be don't fit here. You can't listen. What you used to be, when I was in the military, I can't say when I used to be a private and use that as now I'm a drill sergeant. I can't say when I was a private, I used to just go home. But now I'm the leader. I just can't go home. I can't do the same things that I do on different levels. I can't keep bringing these things because if I did, boy, I wouldn't trust myself around women. I wouldn't trust myself working with women. I wouldn't trust myself you know, being married, being in relation. I wouldn't trust myself. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Sometimes the best response is no response. Indeed. Listen, man. I said this before. Somebody said, some people. Let me give you a different spin to this. I read this. It said sometimes the best response to someone is not your words, it's silence. And that I put it in a different spin. Sometimes the best response, people don't deserve your words, they deserve your silence. It says people don't deserve your words, they deserve your silence. And even though that may be true, but understand silence is where things grow. Silence is where you create. You're after nothing to people sometimes. Yeah. Silence is where everything grows. So if you're gonna give people your silence, remove your emotions from that silence. See, sometimes the silence make you even more mad. Have you ever give somebody silence and you got even more mad? You was burning up in that silence. You was angry. But you didn't want to speak you up because you didn't want to. But how you felt inside was anger, resentment, frustration. But you were silence. You grow in something. In that silence, you grow in something. I want you to know you're growing. Silence is where you create the most. In your silence, your creation is the strongest. See, when you go into your space at nighttime, when you lay down on your bed and you're not talking to nobody on the phone or watching TV, what's going on in your mind in that silence? What's going on in your thoughts when you are quiet and your all attention is there, when your focus is there, and your energy is rushing to that thought and that feeling, you are creating. You are literally creating in that time. So, not just give them your silence, don't give them anything. Don't give them anything. Don't give them emotion. Because when you give them your emotion to Lord, it grows in that silence. And that emotion becomes, listen, sometimes that emotion becomes your personality. Your emotions become a personality. Sometimes, let me say this. Sometimes your emotion becomes your personality. If you hold on to an emotion for so long, it becomes a mood. And when it becomes a mood, you hold on to the mood for a while, it becomes your temperance. And when you have that temperance for going on for years, it becomes your personality. So an emotion that was supposed to be temporary became permanent. Listen, you got to get rid of that. You can't carry that into your new creation. You can't carry that and evolve with it. You cannot carry some of your personalities is an emotion. Some of your personality is an emotion. Some of your personality was supposed to be an emotion. Look at the fear that you are carrying. It drives how you feel. It drives what you do. It drives who come to you. It drives who you go towards. It drives everything in your life. It drives what you are having for business, for work, for your finances. That fear becomes your entire, listen, the resentment becomes your entire, oh man, the resentment became your complete, it becomes so complete. It becomes your personality. This is why we have to pluck these things out. We got to pluck these things out. Hey, Empress, long time no see. We got to pluck these things out. While we are the privates, I'm referring to the military. While we are privates, Work on that attitude, work on that mindset, work on that thoughts, work on that feeling. We gotta pluck them things out now, because if I wait until I become a star major, many times I see so many of us. I see some. I remember when I was in the military at my highest rank. I see so many of my buddies slip. I remember when I was a drill instructor. I see so many of my buddies fall. I was wearing this hat, and this hat comes with authority. When I was a drill sergeant, man, that hat that you wear, you know what I'm talking about? That military drill sergeant hat, the hat that you wear, when you put it on, when you put that hat on, people bow down to you because it represents authority. It represents power. It represents a man or a woman of control, a man whose words must be carried out, a man whose response. It represents so much. And if you haven't plucked that need for validation, if you haven't plucked that need for your ego to be stroked, if you haven't plucked those things out, you're gonna fall. So I see many of my brothers fell. Many of my brothers fell. I fell a few times too because I couldn't. It's so much power, and with the ego and power is never a good thing together. Ego and power is never a beautiful thing. I remember I was wearing that hat one day, that hat, and this girl came up to me and said, "Drill sergeant, you can drill me any day." I said, "Shit." I said, "For real?" She said, "Yes, you can drill me anytime." I said, "God dang." Woo! Shoot! You don't see. Sometimes people don't understand, man. People don't understand the struggles. And I allowed myself a few times to get carried away. I allowed myself, but now today, it it hasn't changed. It hasn't stopped. People are gonna still say some things to you, and whether it's creates anger or resentment or lusting or whatever it creates on emotions, whether it creates an emotional reaction, lust, anger, resentment, hatred, frustration, this and that, and sadness. You got to be careful. Be mindful. It is your responsibility. It is your responsibility. It is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to start plucking them things out at an early stage. Because if you get to a high place, if you get to that career, that position that you want, that social status, that social media status, whatever, if you get to that space, you're going to always start over again. You're going to always go back. Why do you think that in these stories, presidents and generals in the military and CEOs be down? They start over because they can't get those things out of their spirit. Hey Nathan, how you doing? They can't get it out. How do you deal with pulking with anxiety, especially after a traumatic experience? Well, that's what creates anxiety, traumatic experiences, and it leaves an imprint in our mind. It leaves an imprint in our mind, and since the imprint is in our minds, it controls how we feel and how we think. It controls how we feel and how we think. It controls our response because what stays in our mind is the reaction. So if something sounds like that, say it looks like it, sounds like it, feels like it, the same response come. So what we're gonna have to do every time that we see something, we're gonna have to recondition our minds. We're gonna have to sit still, bring that idea to our minds, see it in our minds, and practice the emotion. We have to assign new emotions to these things. We have to assign emotions to these things. We have to assign emotions to these things, new emotions, because the one that came up when I was unconscious, listen, when you experience a traumatic event, what happens? The mind sees something, and based on how you reacted to it, it creates a wiring. The experience creates a feeling, and the mind takes a picture. The mind stops for a minute, and it joins those two things together. The reaction, or which is the emotional reaction, and the event, and it leaves an imprint on your mind, on your brain. It leaves a very strong imprint. So now, whenever something reminds you of that, the same, if the thought comes, the feeling comes, because now they begin to be wired together. They begin to be wired together. And what's wired together begin to fire together. What wires together, when one fire, the other one fire, right? If the thoughts come, the feeling comes. If the feeling comes, because they wired together, okay? So that's what happens when we are experiencing trauma. So now we're gonna have to recondition, reprogram the subconscious by assigning a new emotion to that memory, to that you're gonna have to reprogram the mind. That means you're gonna have to sit there and see what happened and wire. You're gonna rewire it to a different. It's like when you have a car and sometimes these wires cross, or sometimes in an electric or electronic item, when these wire crosses, and sometimes things begin to mess up because what. So what you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to disconnect from the wire that it's crossed with and reconnect it to a different wire, or to the proper wire, so that it can fire better, because it's fire right now, it's firing wrong. So you're gonna have to take the emotion, right? And this takes practice. Remember, this is a reconditioning or reprogramming of the subconscious reaction. So you're gonna have to, if every time you see what happens, you're gonna have to sit there. It's okay. It's a memory. Don't be afraid of the memory. It's a memory. And you have to realize that there's nothing happening now. There's nothing happening now. There's nothing happening now. When you sit still in that moment and that memory comes, there's nothing happening now. It's just a memory. That's the first thing that you got to remind yourself. There's nothing happening. It's a memory. My memories are not real or false. It's just a memory. That's what we are. Human beings are just memory. Their bodies, our skin, you look like your great granddaddy. You never seen him, but for some reason, his memory lived on, and you look just like him. You carry his nose, you have his nose, you have his eyes, you have his ears, but you have never met him. But the body remember, the DNA remember your great granddaddy. So people telling you, hey, you look just like your great granddaddy, but I never met him, because memory is what you are. So don't fight your memory. You cannot fight your memory. You have to choose how you react to them. You have to make your memory submit to you, because they're not going to stop. So what you do, you put a new meaning to the memory. And when you put a new meaning, you rewire your emotions. Emotions will tell the subconscious mind that something is fact. If you are seeing something, if you are remembering something based on how you feel in that moment, you are telling the body and the subconscious mind, this is facts. Do it. Facts. This is fact. It's happening right now. It's facts. Because the subconscious mind only experiences feelings as facts. So now you're gonna have to put a new feeling there. So you're gonna have to sit still for a moment. Every day, sit still. Every day. Every single day. Learn to sit still. And learn that when it comes back. Oh man. I know that's rough. I know that's rough. I know that's rough. I know that's rough. When you see him pointing that gun in your mind, when you close your eyes, if you are addicted to the feeling that you had the first time, if you are still addicted to the feeling, that feeling, that emotions, that emotion gonna come up because you fight it. See, whatever you fight becomes stronger. Whatever you fight, your emotions become stronger too. If you fight in me, I become stronger. If you fight me, understand this. I want you to understand. If you fight me, I become stronger, because I have to put up the resistance. When you fight what you see, your emotions is what you are using to put up the resistance. I don't want to see this. No, 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 no. And that, as you focus on the emotion, it becomes stronger. When it becomes stronger, anxiety sets in, because anxiety is the result of you not controlling your thoughts. So anxiety becomes so powerful because you are fighting it. If you stop fighting it, anxiety is just, you are relaxed. If you stop fighting it, you realize that it's your own energy fighting against a memory. It's your own energy fighting against a reality that you're thinking. So when your own energy, it's your emotions and you're trying to stop them, please no, please no, please no. All you can do is get it stronger. It gets stronger, it gets stronger, it gets stronger. The guns get stronger, the vision gets stronger. Both are fighting each other. So a memory is a memory. But if you think it's more than a memory, you're going to resist it. The more you resist it, the more your emotions have to become stronger. We are both against each other. The emotion stronger, the memory gets stronger. The memory gets stronger, the emotion gets stronger. The emotion gets stronger, it gets stronger. Next thing you lose control because again, that feeling says it's facts. That feeling is telling your mind it's facts. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. So let me have the same reaction. You're gonna have to sit still. When you sit still, look and see what happens. But place in that moment when you see that gun pointing at you, relax. Because nothing happened to you because you were right here. You were right here. You were right here. I had guns pointed to me all the time when I was in Iraq. I don't want to, it's not the same, but I know because I was ready for those guns too. But when it catches you off guard, it's different, right? I was gunned down a couple times. I remember when I was in Iraq one time we were driving and I was eating I remember this like yesterday. I was eating uh, a box of cornflakes. I was hungry. We was on the road. We was on the road. Thank you, Erica. We was on the road and I was eating some cereal and my driver was driving. I'm in the other side. I'm eating my cornflakes and all I'm hearing is ping, ping. They're shooting at us. And I'm just eating my cereal because I'm like, listen, when is my time? I'm done anyway. I'm eating my cereal. I'm like, oh shoot, they're shooting at us. You know, they shoot all on my windshield. I hear is ping, ping, ping. I mean, good thing it was bulletproof, right? Praise God, it was bulletproof. It was armored, but it's just sometimes you have to realize the truth is you are right here. You are right here. And nobody could take that from you. You are right here. You're alive. So since you are right here, you have to rewire the emotion. Because the emotion, you was under stress, you was under fear. Now you're not fearing no more. Now you're not fear, you're not under stress. So don't experience the same thing again. You have to sit still. Because I had to sit still when them gunshot was coming, when that came to me, and that was a form of my PTSD, right? My PTSD from the military, from my combat experience, was that I seen those things happening still. So I had to realize it's not happening. Let me sit still, and when I see those things happening, let me put another feeling. Let me give it another experience. Let me give it another reaction. Let me give it another beautiful emotional reaction. Let me give it this. I'm relaxed, so that when it comes to me again, I don't fight it. And it comes back to me and I don't fight it. And it comes back to me, I don't fight. After a while, when you stop fighting it, the memory gets smaller and weaker because it doesn't need to be strong anymore. Do you understand? Let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you how this works. If the memory comes, thank you so much, Rumbles. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the gift. Understand this. If a memory comes, like for instance, check this out. Yesterday at 3 p.m., you was having a snack. I want you. Okay, a matter of fact, I want you to remember the last time that you had a snack. Maybe this morning, maybe yesterday. Nothing happened. You didn't choke on it, right? It just went in, and bam. Means I'm gonna hit my head. I had to sit. Someone reflect in private and face my demons within and face it. Man, listen, Nathan. Man, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. I'm happy that you were here. What was I saying, you all? I forget what I was saying. What was I saying? I forget what I was saying. If you think about what you were eating yesterday, do you know what? Do you notice that today you're not thinking about what happened yesterday at 3 p.m.? Because nothing happened. Because there was nothing that you were fighting. Nothing that you're fighting happened. And if you're not fighting it, the memory is just, it comes and it goes. Yesterday I ate some chocolate. It was good. It comes and it goes. Because you're not resisting it. Yesterday, I sat on the couch for 10 minutes. You're not fighting it. So because there was no reaction. So it comes and it goes. When you begin to fight, when a memory comes and you begin to resist the memory, the mind says, well, let me stay here for a minute. Let me stay here for a minute. Let me sit here. Let me sit right here. Let me sit right here for a minute. Let me sit here for a minute because you are still. Can I tell you all something, man? Can I tell you all something? Can I ask you a question? Where do you think we get the most energy from? As human beings, the physical aspect of us, where do you think we get the most energy from? Can I ask you a question? Where do you think we get the most energy from? Let me know what y'all think. Because I want y'all to be aware of this. Thank you, Chesney. We don't get the most energy from food. It's from our thoughts. It's from our thoughts. Our thoughts gives us the most energy. It's not foods. Because again, when we eat foods, you have to take energy. It takes energy from you to digest the food. It takes energy to break down the food. So we are if you eat a carrot, the carrot is only so much calories, but it takes so much more calories to burn so we are burning energy eating the carrot. But our thoughts and our feelings. So when the mind is on its journey, doing what it does, the mind, that's its job. The mind is doing what it does. The mind has a beautiful job. It's to go seek memories and experiences. And if one is what causes you to react, and your reaction is based on energy, emotions, means energy in motion, when you stop that emotion right there, the body experiencing surges of energy. Do you understand this? The body experiences surge of energy. So when the mind is seeking and you give it a reaction, you say, stop right here. This would feed my energy for right now. This will fuel me. And as you stop there and you fight and fight, it's energy. It's energy. After a while, it's so much energy that's coming. It's called overwhelming. Anxiety is just that surge. It's energy that you are experiencing. It's energy. It's just energy that you are. Listen, the mind does not know what's right from wrong. There's no right or wrong in the universe. There's no good or bad. It does not know. It does not care from which source that you get your energy from. If you drive your car to a gas station, the car does not care which fuel that you give it. The car does not care which fuel that you put in it. If you give me the regular fuel, I'm gonna drive. If you give me a higher octane, I'm gonna drive a little better. It's better for my engine. A matter of fact, the higher the premium gas burns a little better. I can give you a few more miles. I can burn a little cleaner. I can clean up the engine while I'm driving. It don't, produce all the extra breakage. If I put oil in my car, the car don't care which oil I put. If I put oil, the car works perfectly fine. The car works perfect. But if I put synthetic oil, it burns just a little cleaner. It lasts for longer. You can go farther in your mileage. Listen, these thoughts and these feelings that we have, you have to choose. You have to be aware of the ones that you are choosing because it affects how we burn. It affects the type of energy, how we burn our energy. So I'm saying when the mind is doing what it does, you don't want your mind to stop. If your mind stops, you go straight to sleep. I did a I remember I did a couple times meditations with people. And as I did meditations with them, some people cannot stay awake for meditation. When the mind stops or when the mind slows down, you want your mind to stop? Do you really want your mind to stop? You can't. When the mind slows down, everybody. I did a a meditation once with a lady, and I promise you, in 10 minutes she was already snoring, and she ain't slept in days. She ain't slept in days, and by the time I let her mind, or she put her mind to a space of nothingness, she was snoring on the damn meditation. She was. I was like, let me let this lady sleep. So I just log off. Do what you gotta do, lady. If that's your first time experiencing sleep, hey, do it. She called me the next day. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, don't be sorry. Your mind slowed down. You don't know how to control when the mind. See, many of you can't control when the mind is still because there's no bunch of drama going on. There's no bunch of crap going on. There's no bunch of emotions going on, and you feel different. And when there's no emotions going on, you feel empty. Something is missing. Either something because you feel just mellow, and that mellow feeling you're not used to it because you always have energy, emotions going on. Everything. See, this is why unconsciously, when you live on the outside, that means when you are easily affected by the outside, it rains, you get angry. Somebody says this, you get frustrated. Somebody thinks this about you. Somebody does this. Somebody does things with their own bodies, their own minds, their own mouth. It causes you to emote. It causes you to have a lot of energy going on within you because that's your source of energy. It's from the outside. This is why you have no control. This is why your life is so random. This is why you cannot hold on to anything, because your energy is not from you. It's from what you are seeing, what's going on, what he's doing, what she is doing, what she might be doing, what happened at work, your boss, what somebody said, the traffic is happening because of what you think and what you remember and what he did to you last year. So you're always up and down, in and out, because you are controlled by the outside experiences. Does that make sense? And so when you are controlled by the experiences, you're always moving. You're always up, down, up, right? But as soon as you go inside and create your own energy, it's different. Change what I feed to my soul. I'm telling you, you got to. When nothing is going on, oh my God, I don't know, something don't feel right. It's so quiet. When I came from Iraq my first time, I had to sleep with the TV on. I was so used to hearing boom and I remember one night, man, we were sleeping in Iraq. And you don't really sleep in Iraq. You don't really sleep. I think you close your eyes, but the rest that you get is not rest. I remember one night we were sleeping, and you're very easily awakened, very easily, because you're expecting things to just pop off. And one night we were sleeping, man. This is my first month I was in country. First time, scared to death. Scared to death. When I tell you I'm scared to death, my first time. We're sleeping, and I heard a whistle. And when you hear the whistle, it means it's very close. It's very near. And when you hear that whistle, it's about to hit. Boom! That night, I think we got hit 21 times. It was 21 whistles. And that night, I thought, ain't no way I'm making this. I don't know what. I was just. And as soon as you hear the whistle, you run outside and you get under a bunker. We have a bunch of sandbags and a bunch of. And because you don't know where it's coming, you don't know where it's hidden. And it keeps you in that constant, heightened fear. You can't sleep. You can't do this. So when I came back from Iraq, I had to sleep with music. I had to sleep with the TV loud. I had to sleep with the lights on because that quiet confused me. That quiet effed me up for many years. That quiet, I can't be sleeping quiet. Now I can. Now it has to be quiet now. But when you are in drama and stress, that quiet cannot be. How can I recreate my own energy? You create your own energy. It's not about you creating your own energy, but you choose which energy that you want to burn. You choose which gas that you want to put in your car. So you choose which energy. So to choose which energy, you have to choose your emotions. You see how simple that sounds? But it's not as simple as it sounds, huh? If you want to choose your own fuel, that what you put in the gas, every time you go to a gas station, there's three things, four. There's diesel. Well, at least four. There's one on the same machine. There's diesel, regular, mid-grade, and premium. Four things sometimes. Four hoses to put in your car. And when you pull up, you choose which one you want to put in your car. Each burn different. You put the diesel in, it won't work with your car. If you don't have a diesel car, you put the diesel in and the whole car blow up. Same as our own emotions. You put this evil thought in and the whole body shut down. The whole thing just crash. You put the regular gas in, it's okay. You put the mid-grade gas in, it's better. And you put the premium. So you got to choose which thing that you entertain. So if you're gonna choose to be angry because you're entertaining negativity, oh, you're gonna burn. It's gonna burn terribly, right? It's gonna burn terribly. When you put that, when you there's which see people who can't stand you, focus on people who don't like you, people who are against you, you know, people who talk about you, your family, your spouses, you're gonna always get that energy. It's the energy that you're gonna get because that's what you are reacting to. That's the energy that you're putting in. Oh, then you might have some friends, who encourage you sometimes. And when you're around them, you feel good. Yeah, I like being around you guys because the energy that you're picking up, the energy that you are choosing to fill your stuff is a higher level emotion. Hey, Miranda, you start to put in probably some gratitude in it. You probably start to, oh my God, some joy in your spirit, some joy. Oh, it's fun times. You probably you start laughing. That's all good energy. And then there's some people who every time you're around them, they feed your soul. You become grateful for the little bit that you have. You become extra light. You become extra happy. You become, and the energy that you are putting in is what you get from them. It's a different vibrational energy. And so this is why you have to choose what you entertain, because what you entertain bring you a different source of energy. Remember, the body doesn't care which energy that you give it. Some energies create sicknesses and joint pains and back pains and this pain and that pain and sicknesses, right? Some energy that you bring in creates those things. Some, well, might heal those things or might ease the symptom, right? Some energy that you bring in creates wreckage in your system. Then you might put in some that remove the symptoms. Then you might put in some that just you don't attract no kind of sicknesses, nothing, because the energy cannot, it doesn't support that level. So based on how you think, based on how you feel, based on what you react to, is the source of energy that you put into yourself. Does that make sense to you all? I know I talk a lot, but I try to explain it because I know that sometimes it can be confusing. I know this type of information is very confusing. Sometimes it's very confusing. Sometimes it's, we come on social media or we hear our pastors preach frequency and vibrations, and we don't understand what they are saying. You see what I'm saying? Hey, rooted and essential. Oh, how are we doing? You see what I'm saying? We come on here, we hear people talk, we don't understand. So I try to explain the best way I can, um, to the simplest terms, so that you understand what I'm saying. Okay? You have to choose what you entertain. Choosing what you entertain, choose what energy that you get. So you have to be careful what you entertain, what you choose to bring to your life. Sometimes I have to remind. Sometimes I have to, remind myself. Hey, why are you looking over there? Don't look over there. By the way you're looking over there, that creates a judgment in your mind already, and that judgment creates a feeling inside of you. So you gotta be careful. But yes, but listen though. Let me say this though. Let me say this. Let's be real. Your time is now. Second, I learned so much from you. Millions of thanks for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, the Bev. I appreciate that for real. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, let me tell you, your time is now, man. Your time is now. I had you in tears, Rumbles. I really needed that. Thank you. I'm happy. I'm happy. I am happy. I'm happy to hear that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Your time is now, but this time requires a different version of you. It requires a version that you can't just respond to anything. You gotta pluck those. You gotta pluck those things out. Pluck those things out. The time has come. Everybody's still praying for God to bring them this, God to bring them that. Yeah, Lynn, your time is now. We're praying for God to do this for us, God to do that for us. It's already done. You remember when Christ, this symbolizes that it is done. You remember when Christ died on the cross for Christians? That was to say that it's now. It's now. It's now. It's done. When is it is done, it is finished, and everything broke down. It's now. It signifies everything was done. Everything was already done. It's on you now to receive it. But to receive it, see, to receive it, you have to create space for it. You want to receive the promotion, but you don't want to create the space. You want to receive that life, but you don't want to create the space. You have nowhere to put it. You have nowhere to put it. Nowhere to put it. You got to find a way to put it, and it's up to you. But if you ain't got nowhere to put it, you can't bring it in. There's too much things going on. Your time is now. Your time has been. Your time has been come. But the addiction to how you think and how you feel about what happened in your life, what happened to you as a child, what happened. See, it's hard to get. And when I say addiction, it doesn't mean that it's something that I know is easy to break. I know it's not easy to break. I know. Listen, God knows I know. Don't think that I am talking badly about you. Don't think that I'm judging you. Don't go into my conversations thinking that I am looking at you in a way that I'm blaming you for anything. Let's go above that. But sometimes we are so addicted to our past trauma. It's not intentionally. It's something that happens that we keep focus on. We keep our thoughts on. We keep our energy from. If you keep your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions on that experience, it stays. Tiana, we really do. But this is why you have to practice something else. And it's not anxiety. It's just you just don't like the way how you think. It's not, you don't have an addiction to your anxiety. You have an addiction to fighting your thoughts. And that creates the overwhelming experience because you're fighting. You have an addiction to fighting. You're a fighter. You've probably been told all your life you're a fighter. Who has been told all your life that you're a fighter? Yeah, Lisa P. Who has? And I came to the gym and I have a meeting. I forgot. I can't even stay here. I have to go home. Who has been told all their life that they're a fighter? Yeah. Notice that fighters have anxiety a lot. Fighters don't have peace. They always focus on something that they can't control. Always trying to fight something to make something how they think that it should be. Fighting, and that's what the fighter's spirit. You can't accept things for what it is. Hey Ali, how you doing? Good morning. You can't allow things to be what they are, or people to be what they are. A fight has to be created every single day. It's always a fight. It's always a fight. It's always a fight. It's always a fight. Always a fight. Always a fight. Now, Tiana, how old are you, Tiana? If you don't mind me asking. I am strong and I'm a mess inside. Listen, because your fight don't mean that you are strong. Actually, your fight means that you just don't have a rest. It just don't mean, it means that you don't have a rest. It's not a strong. Nobody is. Everybody is born. It's not. Some is not born strong and some is not born weak. It's just some are aware and some are unaware. If you are unaware, you won't use your awareness. You will use your arms. Tina, you're only 24. Oh my God, you're only 24. I thought you was in your 40s because people. I don't know. I didn't know people who are 24 listen to these type of messages. 24 years old listening to this boring stuff. Is anybody else here in their 20s? I would never guess that people who 20s listen to these type of messages. I think this is the most boringest messages. You learn to rest now, right? I'm telling you. You 25, Nathan? My God. Listen, maybe because I'm old, when I speak, I know I speak a certain way. So I don't assume people in their 20s. Oh, man. Get a head start, huh? I just turned 25. Wow, man, you all still listen to this boring stuff. I don't know how y'all did it. 26? What the hell? See? See someone like Susan is 62 years old. See, Janae's 45. You know, Miranda is pushing 40. I thought it was just older people. Not older, but, my age. I'm 44. Man, I think this would be the most boring thing to listen to. In your 20s, you're 39, Jamisha. Okay. Yeah, but listen, man, this has been your time. This is your time, man. This is your time. If you pick those tears out, remember the wheat and the tears should go together, but there's a way, when they say when the savior farmer comes with the sickle, you got to be the farmer. And you got to learn to have the sickle in your hand, and you got to pick them things out yourself. You got to pick those tears out, because I'm telling you, when they begin to grow together, if you leave them for many years as they grow, the anger, the resentment, with conditioning and with skills and with if you learn anger and resentment and then you learn a skill, you're growing together. They're planted in the same soil. I want us to understand this. I want that to be understood. You're learning a skill, but you still have anger and resentment. Them two growing together. Remember, they say they're in the same fertile ground. If you plant an orange seed and you plant a poison ivy seed in the same soil, conducive to growth, they both grow at the same speed. One don't, I mean, based on the seed itself. But I think we think that the poison tree. I ask the question all the time. If I plant a carrot and a poison plant, which one grows faster? Somebody say the orange or the carrot. No, they both grow because the soil don't care what you put in it. The soil does not care what you plant in it. And I want that to be in your minds. The soil does not care what you place in it. But if you plant something in it, it grows. The mind does not care what you plant in it. It doesn't care. You see what I'm saying? Hey, thank you, Rumbles. I appreciate it. Don't let the weeds choke out the good fruit. Indeed. I'm telling you, many of us, we plant skills from childhood. We're good at what we do. But yeah, we are always, things always, like Miranda said, it's choked out with these weeds that growing. If you plant grass, the weeds are going to grow with the grass. But understand, the weeds are going to always look taller. The weeds are going to take roots even deeper. Because the weeds don't need to be watered like the grass do. The weed don't need to be, but when you water the grass, you water the weed too. Do you notice that when you water the grass, the weeds are watered too? If you don't pluck the weeds out, when you water the grass, did they just hit somebody? That just hit me. Maybe this is just for me. This message is for me. You all don't understand. You know, this is why God say, I rain on the good and the bad people at the same time. They're just and the unjust. When you water the grass, you water the weed at the same time. True or false? You water both the weed and the grass. They're both growing at the same rate. They're both growing at the same damn rate. So as we grow in these skills and skill sets and all these things, here comes these weeds. If you're insecure about women or men or relationships or this or that or this or this or anger or resentment, them things growing too. They grow stronger. They go strong. And those are the same things that take us off from these high horses. They cut us down. Hey, I know you are good. I know you are the best, but you have problems. And I know you might be the best one, but they didn't pick you. But I don't know why. It's because they're racist. It's because it is. Because it's sexist. It's because no. It's because you are stopping yourself. But I did everything right. It's not about that. Your energy, you're speaking. We water our weeds when we water our grass. The best thing to do for that is to learn to pluck the weeds from the roots. Learn to curb your ego. The ego is one of the biggest parts where these things come from. The ego. When things are planted in the ego, oh Lord, to get it out, change must happen. Yeah, Janae is. I mean, Tiana is. You water. So look and see. I want you to take some time today and look and see what you are watering, and see as you grow what grows with it. Sometimes as your relationship grow, what grows with it? Fear. True or false? Sometimes as your love grow, what grows with it? Fear of rejection, fear of being hurt. It grows, don't it? You know what I'm talking about, right? People are scared to grow because some people see that every time they grow, something happens. Some people are afraid to be happy because as soon as they become happy, they think something's gonna happen in their life that brings them back to reality. Many people are afraid. I want us to be aware of these growth, man. These habits. It's harvest time, right, Aura? I want you to see what you are watering, and I want you to see for yourself the weeds that you are watering to. I want you to see what you are trying to water, but look at the other places as you grow, it grows. You're trying to fall in love, but the doubt comes. You grow, they grow together. And I think this is the biggest take away from what I'm saying. They grow together. You gotta you gotta pluck those things out, man. Weeds are stronger than the grass. Weeds have one larger taproot. Grass has fine roots. It's hard to pull the weeds, but is done correctly, it comes all out. Yeah, at once. Indeed. I noticed when things were going good, I would sabotage the relationship because it was getting good, and I'm like, that's yeah, intention. I'm telling you, it's your own experience. Indeed, indeed. You pluck it now, right? Good, Chestnut, good. Pluck them things. And you know, when you pluck them things, you're gonna feel weird because the place that those things were, you don't know what to do with that spot no more. Well, what do I put there? Well, what goes there now? Change comes from growth with growth. Some people resist change to the bitter end. So, what is the biggest takeaway from this? My takeaway is I came to the gym, but I didn't work out. Now I have a meeting. So that's my takeaway. I came to the gym this morning to work out, but I'm going back without a workout. The weeds are also easy to notice. I'm telling you, but sometimes the weed becomes decorations. Remember, sometimes the weed becomes decoration. Sometimes them weeds are pretty too. Have you ever seen a pretty weed? Have you seen them beautiful weed that you like? Ah, let me not cut it because it's beautiful. Sometimes them weeds, I'm telling you, them weeds are beautiful. They be purple sometimes. They be different colors. Thank you so much, Lynn. You do the same. Them weeds be coming up all different type of shades of yellow. You're like, oh my god, that's so pretty. Let me leave it alone. But the grass can't grow because you are distracted by the weed. He wasn't trying to grow the weed. He was trying to grow the grass. Everything grows together. It's up to you which one you pluck. This is your time. This is your time. I promise you. This is your time. Your time has come. But you can't go to that new place in that old attitude. You can't go with your old hurt and your pain. You can't go there with that old reality. You can't go there with your old fears. You have to reprogram the new feelings. You got to bring the new feelings and the new reality, the new mindset into that reality, into the promised land, into what's promised. Everybody, repeating these scriptures. God already promised us this and promised us that. But God promised Moses also, I mean, his people, not Moses, because he said, Moses, you can't go in there because you disobeyed me. But I promised your people the promised land, the land of milk and honey. But you had to keep walking around. You had to get everything out first. You had to be refined. You have to be refined. You have to go through some things. You have to take that slave mentality out. Take that slave. See, you needed this mentality in slavery, but in this promised land, you have no need for it. And if you bring it to this place, it doesn't work. It can't work there. Some of us are trying to start businesses, start relationships, start our health journey, start our journey of success and finances and investing. You can't bring that here. You can't. You really can't. Hey, freestyle, you can't bring it. But your time is now. But you have to leave those things behind. And it takes some time to get out of the system. It took Moses and his people 40 years to get it out. 40 years. Wait, was it 40 years or 400? It's 40 years, right? It took them 40 years. Imagine it's taking us 40 years too. It took me about 40 years too. It took me a long time. It took me a long time because I'm still being refined. I'm still being refined as I go. You know, and you know how you know when you are overcoming this is when the things that you used to fall for, it's okay. No, 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 nope. The things that you used to fall for, you don't fall for it no more. Opportunities that you fell for, money, scams, and sex, and addiction, and chances to get angry and misery and to get resentment. Now we use in relationships just to hold resentment in our hearts. We use everything to hold on to the anger. We use our spouses to hold on to the anger. When we could just lose the spouse and lose the anger at the same time. We are trying to lose one and keep one. It doesn't work like that. I see myself when I was 10 years ago, if I was on this channel now, on this platform 10 years ago, speaking how I speak. It's a lot of women on my platform. I would have been fell many times, pretending. I began to speak this kind of stuff, and I remember when I was distracted, the way how I spoke, I couldn't speak. It blocked me. it blocked me for so long. Hey, Belinda, when I speak like this, if I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to do, I can't speak. It blocks me so much. So I realized in the past I was blocked. When I spoke, nothing came out. I don't feel a word I'm speaking. The passion was gone because I was blocked because I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. The things that I spoke against, I did it, and I'm like, this, I can't keep doing this because I don't want to speak and be comfortable going against my own words. And then when I speak, it seems like it's true, even though it's a lie. So I wanted to, when I speak, I wanted to come out so clear. I want no anger in there, no resentment, no cheating, no lying, no sexual experiences. I don't want nothing in it. So when it speaks, there's no filter. Let me just speak it out. Let it come all up and go all out. I don't have to go through all that filter in my emotions and filter through my chakras and filter through my heart and trying to put it in a way. Let me just in and out same time. Let me just right. Let me just send it out. So it's so good when you could get to a space and you get there when you get there when you cleanse yourself. I think life is waiting for you. I think many of us been waiting for life or God to make a decision, but God is like waiting. Let me wait for you. I'm waiting for you. The promised land is already there. See, the promised land was always there, but they're gonna have to be new fights when you get there, new situation, new conditions. And the old condition, if you're still having self doubts and self insecurity and self stuff, you're not gonna be ready for that promised land. You're not gonna be ready. Get it out now. See these little things that you're fighting, get it out now. Because when you get to the promised land, it's a whole different reality, and you can't take your body image and your body this and your insecurity and the fear. It's not gonna work over there. It's not gonna work. It never works, does it? It never works. So if I was in this situation 10 years ago, I would fall many times because I would be still addicted to certain things, fear of certain things. But it's a process. It's a process, man. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. But your time is now. The promised land was always there. You were praying for to get there. You praying, you praying, you praying, you praying, you praying. You don't have to pray. You know what's keeping you back. Control them. All right, Lindley, you be good. You know what's in your spirit. Remove them. Begin to remove it. You have to feel uncomfortable. Remove those things. You all be blessed. You all have a beautiful day. You all have a beautiful Thursday, I think today is. And I'll see you guys on Saturday for the book club meeting. You all be good to yourself, all right? You know, treat yourself good. Think some good thoughts. Love yourself a bit, Love yourself by removing your evil thoughts. Stop fighting your thoughts. Love yourself by letting your thoughts be. Love yourself by not giving yourself anger. When you love your child, you can feed your child expired milk or fresh milk. And when you love your child, nobody will give their child expired milk. You will give your baby fresh squeezed milk. Fresh, freshly squeezed milk. Well, when you love yourself, you remove all that emotions that's causing you all this suffering, anger and resentment. You have to remove those things because that's the fresh milk. That's the land of milk and honey. Listen, you have to remove those things. You can't love yourself and keep carrying all these things because it's confusing to the subconscious mind. You don't love me. Why are you still angry? Why are you still so angry and resentful? Why are you still so hateful? Why are you still so bitter? You don't love me. I'm the one experiencing it, not you. You can't love me when I'm the one. If I'm angry at you, if I'm pissed off at you, if I'm miserable with you, if I'm resentful at you, I'm the one experiencing those things. You don't love me. It's not them that you don't love. It's me that you don't love. It's me. Because if you loved me, why would you have me experience those things? Why would you feed me spoiled milk? Why would you feed me spoiled, expired milk? which creates sickness and diseases within me. Why would I feed me expired milk, all these emotions and feelings that creates conflicts and restriction within me? You don't love me. You think that you don't love him. You think that you don't like him. You think that you resent him. You think that you're angry at him and you're bitter at him or her. It's not them that you're angry at. I'm the one experiencing the suffering. I'm the one experiencing the back pain. I'm the one experiencing the blockage. I'm the one who experiencing all those diseases within my body. I'm the one. I'm the one. You all have a blessed day. I'll see you guys later, all right? Peace. I love you guys, all right? Seriously. I love you guys. You all be safe out there. Happy Thursday. I hope you like this video. I hope you appreciate this video. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And if you don't, I apologize. But maybe next time you might, all right?